Thanks for the introduction, Chrissy, and welcome to everyone today, and thanks very much for making the time. So I'll be providing an update on our Kalgoorlie Nickel project and the feasibility study work that's underway, but also the high impact exploration that's continuing on our strategic KNP tenure. Standard disclaimer, you're welcome to look at that in your own time. It's in the presentation on our website and on the ASX platform. So I'll just set the scene with the lithium-ion battery sector. We've got the Chinese have been planning strategically for decades. They dominate every aspect of the lithium-ion battery sector. But like everyone else, they still have to source their raw materials. We're seeing supply chain security concerns escalate in and around the COVID impacts, and we're seeing the Inflation Reduction Act in the United States. We're seeing Europe looking to implement a similar strategy, looking at ensuring supply chains and their battery and critical mineral sectors in March. So it's all about ethical and sustainable battery mineral supply. So at the top of that list, we've got Australia. We've got Western Australia as consistently recognised as the best operating resources jurisdiction in the world. And then you've got Ardea with our globally significant Kalgoorlie Nickel project, which is the largest nickel cobalt resource in Australia. So this country risk map says everything you need to know. Only 16% of the world is in the low risk category, and again at the top of that list is Australia, and similarly with Ardea's KNP in Western Australia, we've got that location benefit. So just a quick snapshot on the KNP. We've touched upon the premium location, but also if you take into account over 130 years of continuous mining in the eastern goldfields of Western Australia. So mining's well recognised and supported by the local community. Ardea retains 100% of its projects, and most importantly 100% of the offtake. So that gives all of our stakeholders exposure to that maximum upside. Once you give away the offtake, you can't bring it back. So it's so important that we retain that for as long as possible and continue to advance and add value to the KNP. We're looking at developing a globally significant nickel cobalt operation using proven technology successfully utilised at existing operations. We've been awarded major project status by the Federal Government of Australia in March last year, and we're continuing stakeholder engagement with every level of state and federal government. Just a little bit now about the nickel market. So the figure on the right highlights that global stockpiles are at record low levels, and then if we add on top of that the rapid growth in the lithium-ion battery sector driven by the electric vehicle revolution. So I was reading some stats last night. So in 2022 we saw a 55% increase in sales of plug-in electric vehicles. So that was over 10.5 million vehicles. That exponential growth is set to continue. But again, I'll come back to the first slide and where are companies going to source their battery and critical minerals from. So every nickel resource is going to need to be developed to ensure sufficient supply. Our location, all of our tenements are highlighted here in red. They total over 4,000 square kilometres. We've got infrastructure either passing through our leases or in close proximity, and direct road and rail links to the Port of Esperance and Perth. We've also got a local office and a local team and prioritised stakeholder engagement. This is an example of the infrastructure passing through our granted mining leases at Goongarrie. And I'd also like to highlight the Greater Western Woodland. That's one of the greatest assets of our projects. We know from the history of mining in the eastern goldfields that this area rehabilitates very well. We have none of the challenges that tropical laterite nickel producers experience in the tropics. We don't have to deal with high rainfall, the potential for seismic activities. We don't have tailings disposal challenges. We don't have rainforest habitat destruction. We have extremely strong stakeholder support, and we've got a flow sheet that's built around minimising CO2 emissions. You'll see our Goongarrie Hub, the focus of current feasibility study work. I look forward to being able to report an updated ore reserve and the financial metrics for the project in the June quarter. Goongarrie is only 70 kilometres northwest of the city of Kalgoorlie-Boulder, so we get to leverage off that mining skill set and the experienced workforce. So what makes Goongarrie so unique? You see on the plan on the left, we've got over 25 kilometres of strike and there's 4 deposits. We've had preferential weathering over some 2.7 billion years, and we used to have Lake Goongarrie several million years ago, partially overlying Goongarrie South, Big Four and Scotia Dams. So we've had preferential weathering and multiple movements in the water table, and it's leached out all the silicate minerals. So we're left with this beautiful iron-rich goethite shown in the bottom right, and that is the premium ore feed for laterites because it's got very low acid consumption and rapid leach kinetics. And most laterites tend to be 20 to 40 metres thick at places in Goongarrie. At Goongarrie South in particular, it's over 120 metres wide, grading over 1% nickel, and that perfect geometry for conventional open pit mining. And really looking forward to reporting the updated ore reserve with the PFS. So we talk about the project scale, 3.5 million tonnes per annum, 2 1.5 million tonne per annum autoclaves and a 500,000 tonne per annum atmospheric leach circuit. We learned from existing operations such as Sumitomo Metal Mining's Coral Bay operation in the Philippines. We've seen 2 recent HPAL projects in Indonesia ramp up to nameplate capacity within 3 months. The flow sheet shown in detail here. Anyone who'd like to delve into more detail, please come and see the Ardea team at booth 44. But I just want to highlight the premium goethite, all free dig, shown in the bowl on the left. Perfect for open pit mining. And then with our flow sheet, all aimed at maximising recoveries using existing technology. And the inclusion of the atmospheric leach circuit helps us control the acid consumption. We'll have an on-site acid plant which will also act as our power plant. So all of our power is generated off-grid with 0 fossil fuels involved. Late last year we had a research and development breakthrough with mineralised neutraliser. So the photo on the right highlights the orange-brown goethite material, then the blocks of white are the saprock or the magnesite neutraliser. So we can screen that. The fines go into the autoclave as high grade, and then the coarse white fraction is used as neutraliser. So that saves significantly on consumable costs, having to import as much limestone to site, and similarly it saves on the CO2 emissions with transporting that material to site. We've got a patent pending on that R&D breakthrough. This figure just highlights our industry-leading low CO2 emissions. We're less than a quarter of your typical nickel produced from a laterite operation in Indonesia, and in progress feasibility study work streams are driving those emissions even lower. It's a closed cycle with our project development, so we will progressively rehabilitate, so we will backfill the open pits with the neutralised tailings that will dry out, and then it will be progressively backfilled with stockpiled topsoil and revegetated. So I have this continuous loop, best practice in the industry to return the area to the state in which we found it. The PFS is in progress, being managed by a quality team. Once we're in production and developing this project, we're going to be a significant local employer and contributor to the local and national economies. Just touch upon now on some parallel explorations. So Ardea have over 4,000 square kilometres of tenure in the Eastern Goldfields. It's prospective for a range of battery and critical minerals. So we can do both the feasibility work streams and advance the exploration and demonstrate that blue sky upside as well. So we've had some recent nickel sulphide exploration success at Kalpini, 70 kilometres northeast of Kalgoorlie. Results such as about 3 metres at 5.4% nickel. The exploration team's currently consolidating all of the drilling data and the historic legacy data and planning next steps on this significantly underexplored project. We control 20 kilometres of strike, and we've demonstrated that at least 3 different komatiite flows are all prospective for hosting magmatic sulphides. So now we've confirmed the geological model. You can see some of the high-grade material there. We've got a sample at our booth grading 8% nickel, and we're awaiting some air core results from a 24-hole program undertaken in the December quarter of last year. So there'll be continual news follow as we continue to unlock what we feel is an emerging nickel sulphide province. We announced the discovery of an ionic absorption clay rare earth discovery on the 30th of January this year. So this drilling was completed 1 kilometre to the west of our laterite resource definition drilling. It's a completely new discovery. We've got 3 holes on 1 kilometre spacing. The mineralisation's open in every direction. We've selected samples for preliminary metallurgical test work, and based on those results, we'll be doing additional work. This could be another standalone project all on its own. And as this image indicates, it's very much clay hosted, and clearly the clay rare earth element deposits tend to have much lower mining costs, operating costs, and favourable metallurgy, and we'll provide updates as work's completed. On the lithium potential, because of our large Eastern Goldfields tenure position, we're undertaking opportunistic evaluation. Desktop studies have revealed exposed pegmatites at Ghost Rocks and Perringvale. We've undertaken initial reconnaissance work, and we're waiting for sample results to come back. So we look forward to reporting those results and continue to unlock the battery mineral potential of our tenure. ESG is a serious and major consideration for the company, so we partnered with Digby ESG to have an independent annual audit, and our first audit in September last year returned outstanding results, and we'll continue to build upon those. So just in closing, we've got a globally significant nickel cobalt resource. We've got the rapidly growing demand for battery minerals behind the billions of dollars being invested in building gigafactories around the world. We've got a local team with a track record of success, great stakeholder relationships. Our projects are located in the best operating jurisdiction in the world. We're using proven technology to unlock the Goongarrie deposit, but we're also looking at it, continue exploring and value add from the other critical mineral opportunities, and we continue to keep the company online and look forward to providing updates to the market. And thanks very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of the event.